I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
If you would like to get your song reviewed, dear listener, there's the Filthy Capitalist option. As Sori says, 125 gets you straight to the head of the line. You don't have to be a part of the alliance. You don't have to be part of the group.
Wait a minute.
And the biggest thing is you don't have to wait. You hop, skip, and jump right in front of everybody. 125 gets you there. You do that 3 times, and then get mashed down to the $75 rate for perpetuity.
Yes!
Also, there is a band review option. So if you've got a band and you're trying to get your band some exposure, hit me up at vinsori@gmail.com, and I'll show you the details about how to pull that off.
You can also jump on Patreon, and there is a option on the tiers to be able to get your band reviewed. Yep. Obviously, we can't lie to you, so we can't guarantee a positive review. Get what you get.
It's just rubbish.
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 That's British for garbage.
My favorite is the community option. $1 at the gate gets you in at Patreon. You get to join an alliance. The alliance joins their points together, and that helps determine what songs that we do.
The alliances hang out on Discord.
Message me on Patreon to get the link.
And they do all kinds of other cool things. They do Minecraft, Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah. It's really a community within the community. Anybody can go on the Village, Facebook.com/Vin and Sori. There's 160,000+ people on the channel. What's cool about the Discord is that it offers a real opportunity for community connection, friendship, that type of thing.
And it's on Discord, so if you're not a Facebook person, it's for you.
You start off at $1.
Right.
Plus you get exclusives. Sori and I are working on a song. So the first 15 seconds of that was on Patreon. Also, at $15 tier and above, when we actually debut the video, they're going to be there live with us. There you are, dear listener.
Buy merch. So, Gabe has Pearl Jam, Rockin' in the Free World, Neil Young cover live at Pink Pop. In this version, Eddie freestyles a bit. Pay attention to this too, because I want your input also. Okay. In this version, Eddie freestyles a bit at the start, just a verse or so from the song suggestion from Fugazi and pulled up by Talking Heads, and even a snip of an original song before the band comes out in full to play the Neil Young cover. Also, it's the final song of their set. It's worth mentioning to you and Vin that this version is played right after Porch, the version you saw where Eddie jumped into the crowd from the camera crane. Remember that?
Oh, yes, I do. I do remember that. I was like, yo, this guy was a gangster back in the day. I didn't know he was doing that shit.
He said, I couldn't decide between these two versions. On the one hand, the 1993 version has the original artist out there, which makes a lot of sense, and it's certainly a great version of the song. I do like the Pink Pop 1992 version more, though, but it is without Neil. Maybe put this up as a poll or just ask the chat to vote unless you want to do an executive decision on it.
Neil Young with Eddie Vedder and Pearl Jam, Rockin' in the Free World from 1993 MTV Music Awards. Let's do this shit. Pearl Jam, let's go.
You notice
Stop touching my baby.
colors on the street, red, white, and blue. People shuffling their feet, people sleeping in their shoes. There's a warning sign on the road ahead. There's a lot of people saying we'd be better off dead. Don't feel like Satan, but I am to them. So I try to forget it any way I can. Keep on rocking in the free world. Keep on rocking in the free world.
Houston.
Did you see that guy?
We're gonna have a problem here, Houston.
wrecking the microphone stand.
That's rock and roll shit,
Look.
bro. Set the guitar on fire, wreck the stand, do that shit. Hopefully we didn't get blocked. I don't think we did.
Tearing it apart. Look, and there goes. Did you see this part? He's like smashing the guitar.
Man, they're just wrecking shop. That's
I
rock
was
and
like,
roll.
okay, so the video's
Keep
playing
on
over there. I've got the
rocking
lyrics
the
over
free
here,
world.
and I'm watching like over there, but the video's a little bit small. I'm like, yo, is he smashing a guitar? And he's so then I'm looking. Then I pulled up the stream over here so I can see all this damage. All right, so I have to say one thing that I realized. Okay, so on our last stream, I was messaging my dad to get his rating on a song, and then he told me to listen to Whitesnake, Here I Go Again. He said that that's his exact style.
Okay.
So last night, you were in the shower, when I was supposedly trying to interrupt you, and I was listening to that song. And I picked the earliest version of it so I could see them like in their like prime. And then I listened to like a show that was done like super recently.
Okay.
And I realized that when I see them when they're old playing, it like makes me sad.
How come?
Like I'm glad that they're still playing, but I'm sad to see like their like the change in their voice and the way they like the aging
just the
process.
effects of entropy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It makes me sad. And like I obviously we believe that everything's gonna flip on the other side. People aren't gonna just stay decrepit. But you know what I'm saying? Like
Roger that.
I don't know, like seeing it just kind of and I sat there for a while, like I watched a couple different versions.
He was only 48 in that clip, bro. He looks so much older than 48, but that's
Yeah.
what hard rocking will do to you.
Yeah, so like seeing this version of it, I was like, I was like trying to, I felt like the sad was chasing me, because he's older, and I was
Yeah,
like, what did he
but-
sound like when he was younger, and yeah,
What year? This was 93.
but he was still going.
This
like-
was 93. The song came out in 89, so
Yeah.
about 4 years of playing it. But he was really into his shit. And
Yeah, so it's not
obviously,
like there's like a huge gap of time.
I remember at St. Andre's Catholic School, my brother came home, and he was, my brother was always a real, it makes sense that we ended
What?
up doing the stuff that we've done and
Oh,
continue
yeah.
to do, because my
Yeah.
brother came home and he was like, our president is a leader of the free world. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, man. Nobody believes in liberty except for America. And there are other countries that got the idea of liberty from America, but we're the leader of the free world. And I was like, wow. He's like, yeah, bro, we're it. I'm like, holy shit, America. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it wasn't like, I talk about propaganda and things like that. It wasn't like that, man. It was, okay, whatever. But I was proud of that as a kid. And I'm still like, hey, look, Kaya's laughing. Like, I'm still like not, like I'm always holding on to that. I mean, I obviously I have a lot of criticisms for America, but I'm sure it sounds crazy to somebody outside of America, but like I love that idea that we could be the leaders of the free world, that we could be exporting freedom and respecting other people's cultures and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so part of me is like, you know what? We still have the potential to be that. And so as long as that potential is still there, then it's worth, getting up and fighting for things that seem to be obviously right. But, yeah.
Well, so like when I saw it, to kind of like, I'm hopping back to where I was before. When I saw it, so the Whitesnake song that I listened to, the first one was in '87, and then when I watched the 2004 version, that's friggin' almost 20 years later.
Oh, wow.
So it was like a massive jump, and that it like just seeing that like made me really sad. So when I'm looking at this older version of him, I was thinking that the original version came out the same thing, like 20 years before.
Yeah.
But only 4 years before was the original. That's crazy.
Yeah, and he talked about he said a man of the people. Got a man of the people says keep hope alive. That's a famous speech from Jesse Jackson. Jesse Jackson got up there in 1984. It was a very when I especially in the early 90s, that was a big phrase. You'd see another black person be like, keep hope alive, brother. And dudes would put their hand up and their fist up. Minister Farrakhan was supporting Jesse Jackson. He had this thing called a Rainbow Coalition. He was running for the presidency, and he had a decent shot, and then Farrakhan fucked it up, and so did he. He said something against a certain group of people that you cannot touch in this country. And you want to talk about cancel culture? Holy shit! He said that shit about them folks. It was over for Jesse Jackson. Over.
Shoot. Okay.
Over. There's one group of people you cannot fuck with in this country, and it doesn't matter what time period we're in, and it doesn't matter what we've evolved to or past or whatever. You can't fuck with those people. Okay. So this is commentary on stuff, but yeah, that line right there, got a man of the people says keep hope alive. At the time, it's really interesting to see what has happened with Jesse Jackson, because now modern black folks do not look at him as a voice for us at all. Mm-hmm. Because he just sold out so much. I'm not even going to get into the thing, but he sold. I mean, basically, listen, Dr. King was out here doing shit. They killed him. Malcolm was out there doing shit. They killed him. Huey was out there doing shit. They killed him. How the fuck are you still alive? Farrakhan, they tried to kill on a multitude of occasions. Tried to get locked up and jammed up. All types of crazy shit. But yeah, that was interesting, because he's characterizing Jesse Jackson as a man of the people, and I gotta tell you, like, Jesse Jackson, man, he was inspiring. People were saying, like, this is our Martin Luther King. And I remember I went to I don't know where we were, I think it was in Orlando or New Jersey, where it's like one of Dr. King's daughters, and then Jesse Jackson was receiving some award. We were there and everything, and so
really?
I grew up like not idolizing Jesse Jackson, but looking at him as like, okay, we got this guy, and then completely selling out. But at the time, he was a man of the people. It wasn't just black people. He was kind of like a prototypical Obama, but not as smooth. But he had a lot of credentials, because there's pictures of him marching with Dr. King. Mm-hmm. He said he was there when King got assassinated, and that King was holding on to him and said, "It's your time now, I'm gone," and that was complete bullshit. But yeah, that was really interesting. But if you look at the three verses, I mean, they're all talking about specific stuff that's going on in the country. There's colors in the street, red, white, blue, people shuffling their feet, people sleeping in their shoes, but there's a one and see right there, people sleeping in their shoes. Mm-hmm. It's because you've got all this commodities and all the rest of it, and like I said, prior to 9/11, man, Americans, man, we just didn't care about nothing.
Yeah. And
so notice here, they're asleep in their shoes, which is fascinating, considering the term woke is now pejorative. But every culture has this idea that everybody around them is how do I say this? Go ahead, you say. I'm trying to say it in a way that's not gonna make people miss the point. Go ahead. What were you thinking about the song?
Oh, well, I thought that verse 2 was pretty hard to hear.
I'm sorry. I have to interrupt you. But, like, the whole concept, woke is now a pejorative phrase, but, every subculture believes that everybody else is asleep at the wheel, is not paying attention, doesn't know what's going on, and they're not going to find out until it's too late. Mm-hmm. And there are obviously historical precedences where that's true. Like, I remember when we were studying the Holocaust at school, there were rumors like, yo, they're doing this to us, blah, blah, blah. But it was so outrageous that people were like, man, get the fuck out of here. Hitler was saying all this stuff about the Jews and the Jewish question, stabbed us in the back, Treaty of Versailles, all this other shit. And a lot of Jews took that and said, yeah, we know where this is going. They bounced. And a lot of the other Jews stayed behind. They're like, nah, man, we're good. Our own countrymen wouldn't do that to us. And then Kristallnacht happened, and then they woke the fuck up. So, like, it's so fascinating now to look at our culture and be like, yo, if a person is awake or woke, now that's a bad term. And of course, one of the Glenn Beck, okay, he was talking about, it was the January 6th stuff, and he was saying, are you awake? Do you see what's happening? He's like, not woke. Are you awake? Which, it's like, it's the same thing, bro.
Yeah.
Like, and maybe we could consider that all of us are blinded about something.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not that we're asleep. Maybe people are blinded. Maybe it's a blind spot, because when you're blind and when you're asleep, you essentially see the same thing, physically speaking. Right? So it's not that I'm awake and you're not, I'm woke and you're not woke. It's, I see something in my field of vision that you may not see. And if we look at ourselves as human beings with limitations, then we have to assume that that's going to be correct. Not for that specific person per se, but you have to assume that if you're a human being and you're not omniscient, you're not omnipotent, you didn't even make your eyes for yourself. All the gateways to what you're calling reality were given to you, but in a limited capacity. So if I recognize my limitation, if somebody comes to me and says, you have a blind spot, I have got to take that seriously.
Yeah, people get so offended by that because, I don't know, they think themselves to be a god. It's very weird. It's like, if I had to carry in a king size mattress, I know definitively I'm not going to be able to lift that up on both sides and bring it up the stairs. I need somebody else to pick up the other end. Mm-hmm. And that things are going to get missed if somebody's not on the other end. And I don't understand, like, I was thinking, because you were talking about something the other day, the particular issue that you were talking about, and you brought up how there are different parties that are necessary, and you're saying, like, if it was just you speaking, how people would get one perspective, and if it was just, you listed off 3 different people, and all 3 of you have kind of like these different perspectives on the same topic, but all 3 of you guys are now necessary for balance. And I thought, man, if only all of us recognized, if we could all see, like, we know definitively bringing in that king-size mattress that we have a deficiency and we need help. But in areas that are seemingly much more complex than bringing in a mattress, we think that we can have it all figured out and that we don't have a blind spot. We don't have a spot that we're going to be deficient in. We need somebody else. So if we came with that presupposition that I definitely have some things that I'm missing on this topic, and I need for somebody to point it out and to help me see so I can gain some balance, then I think we could get somewhere. 100%. But I think people are too busy thinking, oh, they have it all figured out, they know the way, and everybody should listen to them, instead of saying, hey, yeah, you have something to say, but so do the other people. So let's all try to start listening to each other so we can get a more balanced view of what's going on.
And not just from a respect perspective, like, I respect your right to voice your opinion. People say that all the time.
No.
And that's important. But it's also listening and weighing very carefully. Now that I'm on the other side of the LGBT debate or whatever, there are so many blind spots that I had. Like, I didn't see, for example, the connection between marriage equality or gay marriage and the pro-life movement.
Yeah.
But you're much more likely to get approved for an adoption if you're married than if you're not. I'm sorry, that's part of it. And so, in the main, if they don't have the kind of capital to have a surrogate, a lot of these women are adopting. Mm-hmm. And so there's a clear correlation there between the pro-life movement and marriage equality. But I didn't see that. And when you're around only certain groups of people, then you're not going to get those other perspectives. That was a blind spot. Mm-hmm. On my side, and also being pro-life. I said in other reviews, I was pro-war. I was like, people are definitely gonna die and good for them. But at the same time, I was calling myself pro-life. I'll never forget it. We're in a car, and this person was talking about how they were gonna vote for John Kerry because John Kerry was going up against Bush, and Bush had brought us into Iraq, and John Kerry was like, yeah, we shouldn't have done that. I made a mistake voting for it. John Kerry had seen combat in Vietnam. I mean, I think he was awarded, not the Bronze, maybe the Silver Star Valor Device. I'm not sure. But he earned his stripes, in my view, in Vietnam. So anyway, this guy was saying, it was GH, that guy that used to fight with Hal all the time with the Bible studies. The little miserable guy with the glasses. Gary is his first name. Anyway.
Oh.
Anyway.
I was never there when he was there. I never saw that.
You were, because you saw one of the meltdowns one time. he was telling me though, he was like, I'm like, how could you possibly even consider voting for John Kerry? He's not pro-life. And he said, well, neither is Bush. Bush isn't pro. I'm like, what are you talking about? I can show you a speech right now where he said he was pro-life, blah, blah. And he's like, we're in a war right now, killing people. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, but this is...
Yeah. Right, yeah.
You know, and of course, you know, I'm young and stupid and be like, look at this weak, limp-wristed liberal. I was wrong. He's completely right. How could you say you're pro-life? You're bombing the shit out of everybody. Mm-hmm. Like... So it's things like that, like, yo, bro, I had a crazy ass blind spot over there. I had a blind spot over here, and so, I think it's really, really important that this song, man, this is. I'm gonna have to give this one a 10, bro. I really appreciate this shit. I really, 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 really appreciate it.
Really?
It's a 10 for me. What do you give it? And a lot of it has to do with the way that he was performing. Live as well.
Yeah, he was really putting out 8.7.
It's a solid 10 for me. And that, dear listener, we must bid you adieu.
Thank you for the stream, Gabe. Dwayne
Gabe
was asking
is
who that
man.
was. That was Gabe's picks for the night.
Gabe, DJ Gabe.
He kept it funny in some of them, and then some of them got serious. And what an interesting collection.
That's
of
what
songs.
I'm saying. Like this was a pretty unique one because there were a couple tongue-in-cheek songs that were, you know, kind of lighthearted, and then the videos were great. I mean, it was worth the block. It was worth the block. Really, really, really good song selection. Very eclectic. Shout out to the big homie Gabe. We gotta do this. We gotta give Dave rest in peace, ears. Rest in peace, guys. Get ready. It's about to get pretty loud up in this bitch. But we have got to salute the big homie. We gotta salute the big homie Gabe.
I know, and he had a big long day, and I think they made him stay late.
I know. The fascist bastards over there at what do you call it? Was it Olive Garden?
Yeah. Dwayne, that's like giving it an 8.7.
Yeah, look, yeah. But that's what the music is, you know, like, no disrespect to anybody, but, like, I don't know, man. Especially after the Middle America episode I shot, you know, it sometimes, like, metal is about the dark side of the world and all that type of jazz, but sometimes it's good to Tenacious D, have some fun. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
We all got together. Everybody was laughing. Everybody was having a good time.
Yeah.
And I think it just shows, you know, you gotta mix it up. And you know, this was a godsend of you weren't scheduled today. He was actually scheduled on Friday, but this has been a godsend because it's like kind of resets you after seeing all the fucked up shit. And at the same time, you're still getting deep.
Well,
music.
I thank you, Gabe, for that.
Good job. Good job, Gabe. Much love to you, big homie. We will see you, beautiful people, tomorrow.
Yeah, we get another stream tomorrow.
Is it 9?
I think tomorrow's is at 9, yeah.
9 Eastern Standard Time, dear listener.
Boop, boop, boop,
So
boop.
check us out. Much love to all you people. Peace to the gods.
Yep, 9
Vin
PM.
out.
Sorry out.
Gone.